everybody. We are here. We are live. Let's get this rolling. We are drafting M15 on its first day of legality here at Lost Legion Games and Comics. Our featured drafter for tonight is none other than Zachary Evans. I am Garrett Meadows, filling in the booth for him. We're going to quickly go over a couple of things and then get right into his pack, which he's already opening. This is just an 8-player draft. We'll be doing 3 rounds. So, Zach going through his first pack here. No comments of note. There's a Gather Courage, which is arguably the best combat trick in the set. Hushwing Griff has his rare. Probably not going to be too high value on that. Other cards we see are the Sungrace Pegasus, the 1/2 Flying Lifelink, Research Assistant, which is the terrible Merfolk looter of the set. Other than that, he's got the Mind Scope and the Gain 8 life, so 2 swing and a misses on commons. He's got the Drain in the black. Hushwing Griff, of course, is not bad as just a 3-mana 2/1 flyer, and it's probably better than taking, this massive Drain. Don't know if it's better than taking the Gather Courage. We settle on the Drain spell, so not an exciting rare out of this first pack, but is what it is sometimes. I don't think that card's meant for too much draft or standard play as it is. So in this second pack, we see a Triplicate Spirits, which is a very strong common, probably the strongest common in the set. A Hunt the Weak, he's hovering over a Living Totem right now, which is the 4-mana 2/3. Enters the battlefield and gives a creature a +1/+1 counter. There's Sign in Blood. A Restock. The 7-mana Convoke Overrun. And, wow, Burning Anger. Burning Anger seems like a card that you'd first pick and try to build around. Hunt the Weak was the pick, though. We see a Gravedigger, which is very good uncommon. The black gets Necromancer's Assistant, which is you flip over the top 3 cards of your deck whenever you put them into play, and put those cards in the graveyard. See an Encrust, a Soulmender in the back. Probably just going to be a quick, easy Gravedigger here. We've already got a good black Convoke spell. Of course, we're not really committed to any color yet. So we ended up with the Gravedigger. There's an Obelisk of Erd. Doesn't seem too strong in draft. Seems like a okay 20th, 21st card. So not too. There's a Flesh to Dust, which is very easy to slam here since we're already in black. 5-mana common removal spell. So Zach's setting up pretty nice in black here. Getting past. He's got 2 strong signals whenever he gets past the Flesh to Dust and a Gravedigger. Haunted Plate Mail is pretty good. Haunted Plate Mail, one of those cards where it falls at a weird spot on the curve because you're usually going to have a creature in play by then. Rot Feast or Maggot. Very good in a black control deck, of course. Gargoyle Sentinel is too. Haunted Plate Mail, like I was saying, falls at a weird spot on the curve whenever you're usually going to have a creature in play, but if you don't, it can definitely catch you up in a heartbeat as it dodges a lot of sorcery speed removal. And of course, it can just come into play and give one of your dudes +4/+4. So we're looking at a Zoff Shade, which is the black I get to pump and get some bonus stats card of the set. Dissipate, because we're not really favoring that Hunt the Weak. There's no reason to disqualify any other colors. I was looking at the Twitch chat. I did not catch that last. I'll have to catch that on the live replay. So we're seeing Child of Night in this pack. Satyr Wayfinder. We're looking at a Mind Rot. going to get the peel from reality. Oh, we took the Encrust last pick. So we're starting to get into blue a little bit. Of course, Encrust is a double blue 3-mana spell. And there's a Research Assistant. So, looking like we can settle into these two colors. Of course, there's not going to be too much here. Restock would be a very nice splash card if it wasn't for the 2 green in it. Black Cat or Radiant Fountain looks like the pick here if we're looking to solidify ourselves in these 2 colors. Black Cat it is. Or is it? Restock gets put in the hand. There's the blue Paragon, has made it all the way around the table. Wow. I would love to be in the next year right now if a blue Paragon makes it all the way around the table. Turn to Frog is a pretty easy pick, so blue is wide open. As pack 1 winds down, we see Zach settling in for blue and black cards. His rare in his pack was Hushwing Griff, so nothing too exciting there. He ended up taking the Drain spell, the Convoke Drain spell for his first pick. And as we round out this pack, not too many other playables to be seen. We'll see what he can pick up here in the second pack. It appears that at least 4 players on his right are not in blue. Of course, that Paragon making it all the way around the table would signal that maybe only one other person is in blue, but definitely half the table to his right isn't. So he might get cut a little bit on this pack, but we'll see. There's a Peel from Reality, which is probably the best blue common if you don't count any of the card advantage spells. There's a Crippling Blight, not really what card that you're excited about picking first out of the pack. There's a Paragon and a Stab Wound. Oh, and an Indulgent Tormentor too. Wow, Zach's gonna get a very good pick. Oh, there's 2 Paragons. Wow. So Zach's gonna get a very good card out of this pack, and probably get another good card out of this pack on the wheel. That mighty beard in front of you is none other than, oh, I just forgot his name. Anyway, Jeremy Bell is sitting in front of Zach, for those curious about that gigantic beard. We see a Negate, Into the Void in this pack. Into the Void, a very good card. Very easy pick here. Double Unsummon. Not quite as good as some of these Theros bounce spells that we're used to. It's definitely not a Sea God Revenge, but there's a Welcome Turn. It's very hard to pass a Welcome Turn. Evolving Wilds. I don't think Evolving Wilds is a pick you're excited about. Of course, we do have that restock. There's a Brawler's Plate, which is, besides Haunted Plate Mail, which Zach did get, probably the next on the list for playable equipment. Amphin Path Mage, the other card. I don't think we're a Path Mage kind of deck. I don't think we've got a lot of low drop creatures that we're wanting to make unblockable. There's a Divination. There's a Statue of Denial. Don't think this is a stat. Well, we're very controlly. I could see Statue. We're definitely not a military intelligence deck, even though we just picked up the Welcome Turn. Divination, pretty easy pick here. So Zach's deck is settling very nicely into this blue-black control deck. We see a Frostlinks. That seems like a good pick. There's Necrobite. There's Crippling Bite. Frostlinks definitely going to help fill out his curve and buy him a turn from any kind of board up aggressive creature early. Coral Barrier, definitely a card that this deck wants. Coral Barrier, I think, at its best in the blue-white deck, but definitely second best in a blue-black deck. And the margin there isn't very big at all. I don't think you want Shadow Knight here. I think you just go for the Coral Barrier and set up for the long game. Shadow Knight it is, favoring the lifelink over the two bodies. There's a wall of mulch. Depends on how heavy green Zach wants to go. Of course, we could have just picked up the restock because restock is a very powerful card. Other cards in the pack are Fester Gloom, which is a nice sideboard card, which just might be the pick here. So Glacial Crasher shows up in this pack. We already passed the Evolving Wild, so I don't think we're gonna be picking that. Of course, we could just use the 6-mana 5/5 body. It cannot attack unless we control a mountain. So, is that another peel? Oh my goodness. Peel from Reality, in case you anybody watching is unaware, is the bounce one of my guys, bounce one of your guys. Of course, that Coral Barrier was awfully missed right now since we have double peel. Curving out into Barrier into Peel. Well, there's an Evolving Lodge. I think that's a easy pick now that we picked up the Crasher. But yeah, Peel from Reality, just a nasty, nasty bounce spell. We get the Statute back. Statute, of course, Wizards of the Coast. Desperate way to try and get a 4-mana counterspell to work. Of course, this one isn't appealing in the slightest, so just take the Trigon instead, which is a man's... Oh, I can't think of what the card is. Icy Manipulator. The worst Icy Manipulator that's been printed yet. 4-man's Icy Manipulator. So Zach's deck rounded itself out very well in Pack 2. We'll see what he can get on Pack 3. Guys, I know we're starting late. Appreciate those that have joined. We're in Pack 3 here with Zachary Evans. Zach Sells Magic himself, drafting on stream for you guys. I'm Garrett Meadows here, trying to not mess things up in the booth. So we see Zach hovering over a Carrion Crow. There's another Divination in the pack. There's another Encrust. We're reading Hot Soup. I think I can hear Zach laughing out there. Endless Obedience, the Convoke Reanimate spell. Of course, that's card Zach might be interested in. There's the Hoarding Dragon, your red promo from... oh no, that's not the red promo. That's the Steal an Artifact, which in Zach's deck might be the Trigon if he ends up playing that. Endless Obedience it is. Passing the Stormcrow, not the Stormcrow, the Murderous Crow. We see the Kite Fence. Kite Fence is a nasty card. It's a 6-mana 3/3 flyer that whenever it or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to tap a creature. So the best top end for a blue-white flyers deck, I think that's going to be just fine in Zach's deck here. There's a Meteorite, which is actually one of the best cards for Zach at this point. His deck has become very, very large, and Meteorite not only is going to come down and crush something, but probably just going to be the acceleration and fixing that he needs at the 5 spot in his deck. We see a Negate. There's an Ulcerate. That's definitely not an Ulcerate deck. There's a Jace's Ingenuity. That's definitely a Jace's Ingenuity deck. Looking at a Nimbus. Easy Ingenuity though. We are heavy blue-black control, so Ingenuity just about the best thing you could ask for. There's another Coral Barrier. We'll see if Zach picks it up this time. He does have those two Appeal from Realities, which is basically the combo with that card. See, Chrono Stutter. Chrono Stutter wouldn't be that bad in this deck either. We've fallen light on the black base removal, so blue base bounce spells might be the next way to go. Which is familiar, 3-mana 2/3. Not anything anybody's excited about. Can't believe we're taking that over the core barrier, but as Zach says, it is what it is. Checking out Mine Rot. This is a decent Mine Rot deck. We're just trying to get our 20th and 21st pick cards in the deck now, and that looks like what we're getting as we pick these Mine Rots and Chrono Stutters and whatnot. Blast Firebolt, not a bad splash card if we're going to be playing that Evolving Wilds and a Mountain Fire Glacial. Crasher. Wheelforge Golem, the 6-mana 4/4 Convoke. Not really a lot of creatures in Zach's deck that can help power that out, but still a playable. There's the Encrust came back. Oh my goodness. Encrust, very good in Zach's deck. Yeah, we knew the blue was open after pack 1 whenever we got the Paragon, the blue Paragon back from around the table. There's Angry Scissors in the pack. We don't really have a lot of artifacts that can take advantage of that. Zach's just going to pick up and Unmake the Graves, which is the get 2 creatures back from your graveyard for 5 mana. And now we're just at the point where we're picking whatever. Go ahead and take that Ornithopter, you know you want to. Oh no, we got the Lava Axe. We got the tech against somebody's Chandra now. Here's the Naturalize, passing the Hydra Surge. We got another Blue Staff. Briosa Freak in the chat pointing out that Zach had already picked up a Blue Staff. I missed that completely. Zach going to show off his Squid token now. But I don't know, guys. I think with double Blue Staff, what are Zach's opponents going to do? Saying Shafty 2 Dope. I haven't heard Luis Scout Vargas or Brian Kibler tell me what colors are good in M15 yet, so I'll just go ahead and keep blindly guessing until they let me know. I haven't heard them say that blue is the worst color, but we'll just assume that it's at least playable, because we've seen some of these cards dominate draft formats in the past. I try not to be subjective in terms of defining a color as good, because it's just a color. You gotta just stop and evaluate the cards on a power level based on what they do themselves. I think that Zach has put together a decent deck here. We'll see how many creatures he ends up with. I don't think that he's actually got more than 10 creatures for his deck, which could end up being a problem, but he's definitely favored if he gets about turn 5 or turn 6 and he controls the board. And if he can draw, we see him laying out his deck right now. As we get to the portion of the stream where I try not to mess things up. Let's see if this works. File, save, deck construction, we are in. As we see Zach laying out his deck right now. Of course, he's got that Haunted Playmail up with the creatures. It's probably about 50-50 whether that card's going to be a creature or not, honestly, because we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got 14 creatures laid out right now, and that's, including the Haunted Playmail, including this Bronze Sable. And we put that Crasher back, so now we're down to 13 creatures. And that's being that's favoring the haunted playmat as a creature. More likely 12 creatures. So Zach just barely above that threshold of being under the amount of creatures that you need for just not getting ran over by any kind of nut curve, any kind of actual curve from your opponents. And we do see a lot of creatures on the low end of his curve, so if he can happen to draw, and play a turn 2 Bronte 1 to turn 3, which is familiar, his deck's going to operate a lot better than if he, has turn 2 Dissipate into turn 3 Mine Rod, or sorry, turn 3 Dissipate into turn 4 Mine Rod. Like, his deck definitely has a lot of variance in it, but I think the variance in his favor is going to be is going to set him up very well. Because, like I said, if he can get to turns 5 and 6, where he controls the board, then this deck is going to be very, very good. Yeah, I agree that Zach doesn't have a lot of creatures, referring to Brios or Freak here in the chat, and there's not a lot to write home about here. If I'm playing against Zach and I knew what he had, I'm killing this Indulgent Tormentor, and I'm gonna run over the rest of his creatures with 3/4s and whatnot. It looks like he can get in a lot of trouble very, very early against any kind of decent curve from a green deck, but we'll see. We have to play the games for this stuff to happen. So of course anything can happen in limited. We can sit here and theorycraft all we want, and Zach just run over his opponents all night, or get ran over himself. But we appreciate him putting himself under camera for us to be jackasses and scrutinize him and pick apart everything that he's doing. Like I said, we're probably getting some feedback from the very excited group of people that are behind us. There are multiple drafts firing here at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. We were the second draft to fire tonight. The first one got off about 20 minutes before we did. We have 8 competent players to present for you all tonight. So we should get some good games of Magic if these draws don't just fall apart from either player. We'll let Zach finalize his last few choices here. I'm going to step out for just a second. Alright, so we caught a glimpse of the other 7 players at the table. We got some ringers tonight. Of course, we got local limited experts, Ian Striggy. So we know that at least one player at the table was playing a do-nothing control deck. I did see there was one other blue drafter at the table, which is what we expected. And that would be a Mr. Joseph Deal, who settled into blue-white. So everybody else was fighting over the other 4 colors. Low numbers tonight. Don't know if it's because we started late or what's going on. We'll try to get things rolling here tonight and get some excitement generated. Let's see if Zach is logged in on his Twitter so we can tweet things about this. We got it. Copy. Alright, so we are set up for the night. About 50 degrees outside.
Is anybody even watching?
Brioche Freaks in the chat.
Portugal.
We had 24 viewers, then I turned on the face cam.
I don't understand why nobody's watching.
You want me to tweet things? I pulled up Twitter.
No, I don't care.
I want to tweet it anyway.
So, I'm sure that first pick was wrong because I almost didn't play it in my deck. That's usually a sign that
Then
there's
drain,
nothing good.
Does that hit creatures?
Yes.
That's fine.
It's not great, but like there wasn't anything good in that pack. I could have just taken that 2/1 flyer, just to have a 2/1 flyer.
Also, that green pump spell is ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that just made me an unfamiliarity with the format, but
I mean, you also don't have to force yourself into green.
yeah. And then there was an Encrust early that I didn't take. Like I probably overvalue that card, but I love it. I don't know if you can tell. Like I just love removal and like.
It's no claustrophobia, but it also stops activated abilities.
Yeah. And then I picked up like. Oh, I don't know what I picked up. Like there's a lot of garbage in here, but like.
Well, you have
Flesh to Dust seems alright.
Yeah, that's like, the default removal spell.
Like this is the card I went back and forth on, the Tyrant's Machine.
Yeah.
Because it's not an icy manipulator. But
I called it the poor man's icy manipulator.
Like 4 is a lot different than 1.
It's hard for me to draft that card.
I probably should not have it in my deck, but I will.
It seems fine.
Because
once you get to the point where you're equipping this, you want to be able to tap down there.
At some point, I kind of felt like I was this kind of like Blue X tempo deck, and that's why I drafted all these like garbage 2-drops. But like, Peel's not really good in my deck, and but I do have a lot of removal, and like I don't know, these two convo cards, I wavered on a lot at the end too. The Endless Obedience and Unmake the Graves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think they're like good, but the Endless Obedience seems fine.
Yep.
Especially with the removal I have, but like Unmake the Graves is probably have to play it in my deck because if my Welkin turn dies, I need to get it back.
Right, and that's going to be your plan. Like you can just go into games and not feel bad about chumping or trading early with your 1 and 2 drop or your 2 and 3 drops because you have Unmake the Graves and you have Gravedigger.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Indulgent Tormentor, the 5/3 flyer that draws a card unless they pay 3 life or sacks a creature. Like that card's amazing and limited. And this Cap Show Kite Fins, 3/3 flyer for 6.
Yeah, that's a bomb.
Yeah, that card seems fine, especially given my curve. Like it's tough, but like all the 2-drops off the top of my deck, they stop being just garbage. And then
but it also turns like your Unmake into a really great draw late game because like you have that in play and then you get 2/2 drops back. And you can tap 2 of their creatures and attack in with your 7/7 because it's equipped with on a plate now.
Yeah, and the Paragon seems fine. That came pretty late.
The
blue Paragons seem pretty good.
Blue Paragon, like let's talk about the Paragons because there's some that give their creatures vigilance, like the white one, and there's some.
I don't want to know. I don't have time to eat it.
And there's some that you can go probably trade that one in for a cold one.
That's still cool.
There's some that give your guys flying, like the blue one. The blue one's insane. The red one gives haste, which is also comparable. But yeah, being able to jump your Gravedigger for no apparent reason seems pretty good.
Can you click on my tweets thing there?
Do you want to view
No,
the
I
new
want to
one?
click on the actual tweets count over there. I want to see if my last one tweeted. I'm very surprised why there's only 20 people. Alright, well that didn't get through there. My deck is not very good. I will lose to Alec in round 1. But, I don't know, it's got a chance. Like, Haunted Plate Mail is a heck of a card. And I don't really understand why I had it for so long, but it's fine.
Well, I was discussing, like,
Gravedigger's good in my deck too. Like,
you know,
I have a lot
because
of
you're blocking early.
I have a lot of removal.
Alright. Good luck.
Thanks.
You're playing on
Yes.
feature match.
Thanks.